Good morning everyone. Welcome to online class. Today's class we are going to see the remaining part of the supplement reader Earthquake by M.S. Magadevan. When the soldiers began to clear the debris, my uncle led me away. I was in a complete daze, too numb to feel anything. The soldiers had set up a makeshift camp. Someone gave me tea and biscuits. I don't know how long I was there. Suddenly it was evening and uncle was standing beside me. They have taken the bodies to the river bank, he said gently. Come, you must perform the last rites before sunset. Tomorrow we will go back to Paudi. Bridge was stunned to see his flattened house. The soldiers began to clear the debris. They had set up a temporary camp. Somebody gave Bridge tea and biscuits. It was evening. His uncle told him that they had taken the bodies to the river bank. So he called Bridge to do the last rites. I had seen my family while leaving for Paudi. They stood at the doorway and waved. Ma, Grandma, Nilu and Bully. That is the way I will always remember them, smiling and waving at me. Not as the white shadowed lifeless figures I saw. Bridge had seen his family while leaving for Paudi. The family members waved their hands to say goodbye. That was the last scene. Now he saw as the white shrouded lifeless figures. Bully, she was not there. They have not found her, my uncle said. The wild animals, Bridge, don't look like that. She is dead. But we must find her, I shouted. Bridge, get a grip on yourself, uncle pleaded. But I was beyond reasoning. I ran back to the village to the spot where my house had stood. There was still so much debris. I scrambled around shifting the earth and stones. How long I was on my knees searching, crying, searching. Bridge did not find Bully. His uncle told him she might have died. But Bridge wanted to find her to do the ceremony. So he ran back to his village and searched her with tears. Boy, it is no use, a voice said. I looked up. The speaker was the army officer who had supervised the relief operation. There is no one alive in there, he said. Whom are you looking for? My sister, sir, I said, fighting to control my tears. All I want is to give her a proper cremation. I stopped, conscious that I was babbling. I could see that he was bone tired. He looked as if he had not slept for days. His uniform was covered with dust. His face was grimy. But through all the dust and grim, I saw that his eyes were kind. The army officer told him that there was no one alive there. He asked Bridge whom he was looking for. Bridge replied that her sister. The army officer was very tired, but he was very kind. My men have been on their feet for days, he said softly, as if talking to himself. They have done all they could here. Tomorrow at daybreak, we go to another village just like this, then another. He looked away at the sun setting behind the peaks. Down in the valley, the pyres burned row upon row. The officer muttered something, shook his head and turned away. A terrible despair engulfed me. I lay there among the ruins of my house and cried. The army officer told Bridge that his soldiers were tired also they had to move the next place to rescue the people. Bridge lay down the flattened house and cried. 10 minutes later, the officer was back. With him were 3 soldiers armed with spades and crowbars. Without a word, the men began removing the debris. They labored doggedly. When it was completely dark, someone brought a few lit Petromax lamps. 2 hours later, a soldier called out, "Sir." He stood in the middle of a small hollow. The wall had caved in at that spot. I recognized a part of a door, beneath it a small foot. The army officer came back with 3 soldiers armed with spades and crowbars. They started to dig. They were searching. 2 hours later, a soldier called out. They found a small foot. Feverishly, the soldiers began to clear the hollow. Then they lifted the door. "She is alive," someone said. It was a miracle. She had been buried under the debris for 116 hours. She had survived the earthquake, the cold nights, and the wild animals. A ragged cheer went up and another soldier wrapped her in a warm blanket and carried her to the tent where a makeshift hospital had been set up. Fully lived. The next day I went to thank the army officer, but he was gone. I did not even know his name. Bridge's sister was alive. It was a miracle. She had been buried under the debris for 116 hours. She had survived the earthquake, the cold nights, and the wild animals. She was taken to the temporary hospital and saved. Bridge wanted to thank him, but the officer had gone. My sister and I went on to live with my uncle. Soon after, I got a job at a dhaba near Panipat. Bewley stayed back. She started going to school. It waited me that I never thanked that army officer. I hoped that one day I would run into him again. Every time I saw an army man, I would hope it was him. For months I would search for his face in every crowd, and one day I did find him. Bridge got a job at a dhaba near Panipat. Bewley stayed back. She started going to school. But Bridge often searched the army officer. Every time he saw an army man, he would hope it was him. For months he would search for his face every crowd. One day he did find him. It was late on a winter's night. A truck stopped at the shop. A man got out. He looked familiar. When he stepped into the light, I saw that it was not him, just someone who bore a strong resemblance. The man was tired. He asked for a cup of tea. As I served him, "Sir, I felt this strange lightness, this sense of joy." When the man offered to pay, I did not take the money. The next day it happened again. Every day I would see someone, a complete stranger, a tired traveler, who reminded me of that officer. It was as if he was everywhere. And every time I served him tea, I felt a surge of sheer joy. One day, he saw a tired traveler in his dhaba. His face reminded him of the army officer. So he offered him a cup of tea and felt a surge of sheer joy. A month later, I quit my job at the shop and returned to those mountains. The shop owner was quite relieved. He had no use for a waiter who kept forgetting to present the bill to the customer. Now I am on my own and I am at peace. Here is your bus, sir. No, no money. You were tired. All I offered you was a cup of tea. Maybe it was the best tea in all Godwall. Maybe not. But I am happy I could do you this small service. Wish you a safe journey, sir. May God be with you. He quit the job in Dhaba and started a tea shop on his own in Gadwal. He started the tea shop only to serve the people. He used to offer a cup of tea to travelers who seemed to be tired. Now, Bridge has become a symbol of love and humanity.